What's going on, everyone? This is the NCU podcast. I'm your host, Noel. Joining me today is Reese and my friend Darian. And in today's episode, we're going to be talking about the state of WWE, especially after WrestleMania and Raw after WrestleMania. I wanted to let this one sit for some time. I didn't want to go immediately into an episode after WrestleMania. But yeah, we're going to talk about that. But before we get into it, if you guys don't mind, please like the video, subscribe to the page, and hit the notification bell. Share with your friends. Without further ado, let's talk about WrestleMania Night 2. Actually, WrestleMania as a whole and Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania. Now, we can all agree, Reese, Darian, we can all agree that WrestleMania Night 1, that was a great night.
I think Triple H wrote that one, and Vince wrote Night 2.
Yeah.
And Night 2.
And Night 2 was
only one
defeated Charlotte for the championship.
No, that was Night 1.
Yeah, Night 1. Yeah.
Night
But let's talk about the two big elephants in the room. Elephant number one, Roman winning against Cody. I feel personally,
and still,
that was the most unnecessary win that Roman had.
But I consider for that win, it had some credibility for because that's Cody's only championship match he ever had. Like, not World Championship match he ever had in his company.
That's fair. That's fair. And my thing is this. Yeah, everybody has said, okay, which I do somewhat agree now, especially after like letting it sit. If Roman would have beaten Cody clean, it would have definitely diminished, or it would have killed his run. And I was sitting there thinking like, okay, there could be a rematch, even though personally the stage was already set, and some people did say this, and I agree that the same momentum that Cody would have had winning at WrestleMania is not the same as if he wins at like SummerSlam or Survivor Series or anything like that. Nevertheless, I feel still irritated because even if you outside of like that, when it comes to Cody not winning, my biggest problem with it is the fact that Roman's part-time. Roman's not at every show. Roman's in his contract is not doing every pay-per-view. So why are we keeping the belt on him? Like that's beyond frustrating to me. It makes zero sense.
Yes, they want him to act like Bruno Sammartino, a modern day Bruno Sammartino. That's why.
Of Paul Heyman, money.
I mean, yeah, that's true. I mean, because
past 3 years plus COVID, who been carrying WWE?
Roman character has been carrying.
I mean, if you want to say who's been carrying WWE, if you want to be technical,
has been carrying that company.
Okay, you want to get into that?
They give the championships to them.
That don't mean nothing. That because Roman is Vince's guy.
Right, and if you want to say it based on part timers and all that, and who's been carrying WWE, then you look at John Cena and Brock Lesnar at that point. John Cena shows up at least once a year for a match, and then Brock just shows up to show up.
Time period, bro. Like not like
Actually,
Roman didn't wrestle that much in the COVID time period because remember he said that he left because he said he wasn't gonna put himself in harm's way.
Oh yeah, but then he
so
came
was
back.
Seth. It was really Seth and them.
Yeah, Drew sat there. Drew won the championship.
His back had in a couple months.
And Goldberg was there too, technically.
I hated Goldberg.
We don't talk about Goldberg.
Next topic then.
But this is like, but outside of that, to me, my biggest thing is this. He's not working every pay-per-view, so it makes no sense to keep the belts on him. I get the 1,000 days, and I feel like, which we're going to talk about next, I feel like if they would have at least set up Raw better than what they did, because again, we're talking,
Who is they?
we know Vince McMahon. But nevertheless, I feel like that win like sucked the air out of it, and I feel like the disappointment that I had. I know the fans probably had the same type of disappointment. The disappointment that I had seeing Roman win again, and especially considering the fact that you had you had the Usos come out and still interfere, and then Sami Zayn and KO came out. I was like, okay, Cody has a chance. And personally, I feel like where the main troubles of this match of Roman versus Cody really started being set up for was the fact that the match was for both belts. I will always still be on this heel that if Cody Rhodes winning the Royal Rumble was set up for him to sit there and only take one championship, then it would have been much better. And you could have actually given him that win, especially if it was a WWE championship. Like, having him lose, having him try to win both belts is kind of like makes no sense, considering one, yes, he is just getting back. I get the story, but it's like he is just getting back. But winning both belts was kind of like very, very unnecessary, and I still feel that way. Darren, you got any thoughts about that?
All right, with that, I wanted Paul Heyman to go in the back and actually talk to Triple H about breaking it up.
Thank you. Just hey, one belt.
I can also see who wrote this. I don't believe Triple H wrote Night 2 at all. So many matches that's underperformed. Bianca match underperformed. Like the tag team match underperformed.
And I rooted for. I called that.
And I already knew the
Bianca was gonna win.
The Omos match was underperformed. Like I said last time on the podcast. But Mr. Reese want to be the biggest Omos fan in the world with this. I never saw
Omos,
if Omos keep him off of television.
My biggest thing is this with that Omos match. The main issue I had with is the fact that it really went short.
He was whooping him the whole time. Then lost in the F5.
Right, he lost to one F5, and it was a short match.
What's a lot of people losing to only one finisher this whole weekend? John Cena lost to one finisher. Oscar lost to one finisher. Like, who else lost to one finisher?
I mean, John Cena being the legend that he is, I feel like only that was kind of but I also realized it was the opening match.
Yeah,
I feel like if you put let's say this outside of that, if you put that match between John Cena and Austin Theory, if you put that probably where the Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair match was, I'm talking about during that time slot, it would have went longer. But nevertheless, it's a situation where now we're sitting back and you have to look at it and be like, wow. It was definitely like a really, really bad call. But again, I feel like, if they sat back and they had basically made everything into this is only for one belt, then it would have been way, way better. You could have had Roman lose. You could have still had him be that part-time champion.
In my opinion, on night 2, also with night 1 and night 2, both of the openers sucked. Both of them sucked.
Remind me, what was the opener for night 2?
Omos.
Oh.
Yeah.
Pause. You going into that match thinking that match is going to be good, that's on you. I'm
So
sorry.
Omos match?
If you
one didn't open the show. Because the opener
if you walked into that match thinking that match was going to be any type of good, that is on you.
By the way, my friend Elijah just joined in. We was looking for you because we knew you was supposed to be in this episode.
Because you want to hear some noise in the background of me choking Reese. Saying Omos.
I'm like,
paper.
Hold up.
Elijah, did you see before we talk more about WrestleMania, because we're also going to talk about Monday Night Raw? Did you see Raw?
No.
Oh wow, you missed a lot.
But I know what the key thing that happened.
Oh, Vince wrote the episode.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
So first, this is what everyone. If you expect that Brock Lesnar versus Owen match to be good, that's on you.
Why wasn't the opener though? That's what I'm saying. Like, why was the opener?
I mean, to be honest, that card wasn't even that. Like, this is the match you had.
Opener.
I wouldn't have had it. I wouldn't have had the opener either.
Or Fiend.
Because think about it. If you would have gave the Gunther match, the Gunther Drew McIntyre and Sheamus match the opener, then you would have had to shorten its time. That was the biggest thing. So, right, the openers aren't supposed to be these. They're supposed to be definitely a captivating match for the rest of these shows, but it's not supposed to be the longest match or like a lengthy match.
Just open.
By the way, can you talk about the greatest segment at WrestleMania though?
No,
involving one Snoop.
No,
skip
that.
No.
Cause about this segment that got scrapped. The LA Knight and Bobby Lashley segment that got scrapped in night 2.
No,
because wanna know who? Because Vinnie Mac wanted to scrap the idea.
Again, we're not going to talk about the greatest segment in WrestleMania 39 when Snoop Dogg hit the people's elbow on the Miz.
First off, as much as I love Snoop, that match, I was like, come on now. Especially considering the fact that Shane literally tore his quad mid getting in the ring. That was just wild.
No, that was
wild.
Mid leapfrog.
That was wild.
Leapfrog said, "I'm a quiet."
Shane, he needs to sit down. But
no, I'm still gonna say
Shane. I'm like, who's that?
No, here comes the loose change. Stupid.
No, I'm still gonna say favorite segment though. That's my favorite segment for the entire weekend. Cause I'm sorry, I wanted that on my wrestling bingo card, and I got it. Okay.
That's wild.
I'm sorry,
That's
Shane.
wild.
Hope you recovered fast, but
Shout out Shane, man.
I wanted that match. I wanted Steve Dog to have a match. Y'all remember me saying that for months. Not to have a match at WrestleMania in Hollywood. It would be good if Snoop Dogg had a match. Did I not say that?
I mean, to be honest, it's just really like that. Boy. Nah, it's.
Then I would like to bring up. Can we just talk about? Can I say something real quick about? Did you guys talk about the Logan Paul Seth Rollins?
No, we didn't. We're talking about right now the downfall of a lot of things, especially because if we look at it, WrestleMania Night 2 is not that good, and especially Raw after WrestleMania was terrible. It was man, like I was at work, but I still recorded because I was excited. Then Darian texted me and said, "Man, Vince booked this Raw." I'm like, "Man, whatever. It shouldn't be that bad."
He watched it.
And then I watched it, and no, it was bad. It was.
The only thing I saw on Twitter.
It was really bad.
Was that Cody Rhodes picked Brock Lesnar as
No, he
tag
didn't
No, he didn't pick him.
The stipulation was first off, the stipulation was terrible. What they had, they said they had somebody that wrestled this past weekend, but also fought for the championship. First off, that's already messed up a lot of things for it. He's being for real. That messed up a Randy return. That messed up a debut match. That messed up an NXT call up. No, actually, it didn't mess up NXT. Nah, it didn't mess up NXT call up. It messed up a lot of things. It messed up anybody, everything. It messed up the whole show.
Well, that's sad.
So this whole show, that was no stipulation.
But nevertheless, he said, "Let's talk of the infamous night." My apologies. Which was last night, which was Raw after WrestleMania. No. You said want to say WrestleMania real quick?
Real quick.
What else you got to add? Cause
Let's talk about Logan Paul in the match.
fine, all right, fine. Let's talk about something good.
It wasn't that bad. It was good.
It was good.
I liked it.
How y'all feel about KSI getting?
Now, bro,
That was
KSI
hilarious.
being there,
That
was
threw me
nice.
off.
That was
KSI
nice.
being there
That
threw me
was cool.
completely off.
That was nice.
KSI in a little prime thing too, though.
That was cool.
hilarious. That was hilarious.
Yeah.
They didn't get Frost Splash, but all right. Let's see what's about WrestleMania. All the good matches. Let's about the downfall.
People I walked it with said they wanted Seth Rollins to be in its prime battle just to mess with Logan Paul.
That would have been hilarious if he would have just actually had a prime battle.
Yeah, that would have been funny.
But I'm like,
Good parts of the WrestleMania. Clearly,
Rhea match.
versus Charlotte, that was nice. That was a good match. That was a good match. That was a very good match. I liked it. It was very
That match was good.
Yeah.
The tag team match was fantastic. I was so not the women's one was kind of downfall. I'm talking the males one. The males tag team match was fantastic. Both of them.
It was good. I like the
I
Street Profits picking up
that would have been a better opener than better than Austin Theory match.
But nah, that like I said, night one was great. Night one was a really phenomenal one.
Mm-hmm. Night
but
one was better than night two. I'm gonna say that.
Yeah, no, night two was just I'll say this. Night two was underwhelming. Outside of the Gunther match, Cody and Roman did put on a really great match, but outside it was very underwhelming.
What are you doing?
But nevertheless, it's it. Now, outside of WrestleMania, let's get into.
Wait. Can I say one?
Yes.
Can I say one thing about the Drew Sheamus Gunther match?
What are you about to say?
Drew Grote, my favorite wrestler. It's Grote, one of my favorites of all time. One Big E Langston. That match was big, meaty men slapping man meat. Tell me you don't love big meaty men slapping man meat.
Elijah, you gotta chill on that one. That's wild. That's wild. Right.
What do you mean? I am Cody. Big meaty men slapping man meat.
No.
Right.
Anyway,
You not agree with this at all?
Anyway,
Why do you
again.
the weight title, dog?
Anyway, outside of that, like I said, the problem. Let's get into the problems with Raw last night.
Vince was in charge.
Yes, the short answer is Vince was in charge.
He rewrote the whole show
And then
before it started.
A lot of things got canceled.
Trying to make people believe that Brock Lesnar would actually do a tag match. Had this man ever done a tag match?
Yes, before, but now.
Not even just that.
The last time he wrestled on Raw was like in 2003. First off, he was on Raw in the match. 2003 was the last match he had on Raw.
It's like, to me, what I really feel like, there was a few things that was bad about it. One, they buried Cody. Like, no matter what you want to say, they buried Cody. It makes no sense why Cody comes out. Like, me personally, this is how I would have booked it. Even with Roman winning, I would have had Cody come out, address the fans, says that, he feels like he failed, and then, right. Not even Challenge Solo. Just he feels that he failed and that he still has, to continue the story. Then you may have had Roman come out, talk about, I'm still on God mode. You can't do this and whatnot. Acknowledge me. Have Cody sit there and say, like you said, I had you on the ropes, and literally, if it wasn't for interference because, you got Solo, you got the Usos and everything, I would have beaten you. And then say, you know what? I'm not going to acknowledge you in this, that until you give me until you beat me clean. And at that point, you can still at some point set up a Roman versus Cody later on down the line. And again, like I said, make it for just one belt. Nevertheless, you had him sit there and say, hey, I want to get the championship. Let's fight tonight. You're not going to have a title change on Raw. Like, let's be honest. You're not really going to have a real title change on Raw. Then you're going to sit back and have Brock Lesnar have this tag team match. But then once they're being announced, like the announcer saying, all right, here's Brock Lesnar, here's Cody Rhodes. You have Brock Lesnar not only F5 Cody Rhodes, but then he sits there, takes him out of the ring, beats him up, F5s him again, puts him back in the ring, put the stairs in the ring, and then F5s him on the stairs.
Is this John Cena versus Brock Lesnar again, like with that storyline?
And I feel like, considering how much Vince loves John Cena, which, by the way, I grew up on John Cena. I love John Cena as well. But it feels like he's trying to recreate that storyline.
That's going to take a whole nother year, and people not going to sit there for another title for a year. Who can't fight for a whole year?
Right, and not even on top of that, even if you want to sit there and say that he's trying to recreate the storyline and everything, if the rumors still stay true, then how are you gonna fix that? No, not even with the roster. How are you gonna have that whole part-time champion Cody versus Roman WrestleMania when there's rumors that The Rock is still supposed to be there at WrestleMania 40? So what, you gonna have, a triple threat? That makes no sense.
No matter what, Cody's still gonna lose that one too.
And to me personally, when it comes to fixing the Roman Cody situation, and I know everybody talks about, which I also believe too, that Jay should get a championship match and whatnot. I feel like, no, this is how I feel like how they should book it. If they want to salvage this storyline, considering they already hinted at the bloodline breaking up after Paul Heyman told Jimmy and Jay, hey, go back on the plane. There's seafood on there. We're going to be there shortly because we're going to squash Cody and Brock. And then once they left, he basically told Roman in the locker room, I handled that problem for you. So they're already showing that. What I feel like, if you want to salvage this storyline and you want to at least make the best out of it between the bloodline and Cody, I feel like there should be a winners take all 2 out of 3 falls match where literally it's Jay versus Cody versus Roman. And literally, let's say Cody gets the first pin and he pins Roman, or he pins Jay, and it's a 1, 2, 3. Then automatically, that's just one belt off the line, and that just means Cody can either fight to win both belts, or if Roman pins Jay, Roman pins Cody, or Jay pins Roman, then that means whoever gets that second pin gets the second belt. That way you can split it up in that way.
There's never been a match though in WWE. That wouldn't make sense for a match type. But they kind of made it like this: for Roman to take the title off Roman, like you said earlier. Paul Heyman did that when against Triple H or whoever was in charge that night, to make sure it's only for one title. Mm-hmm. If y'all want to break up the bloodline too, that could have caused disturbance with the bloodline. So you think I can beat them? You think I only got to put one title on line? That can make it so much better for everything.
I also feel like if they are going to try to book it, if you don't go with the first way that I had made it, I feel like they're also with Paul Heyman saying, "Hey, make it for one belt." I feel like Jay may somewhat interfere in a Roman match, or at least he might be like a distracting presence.
Oh, finish your statement.
Yeah, he might be a distracting presence, and at that point, it'll be like, okay, just in case Jay does something like really foul, let's make these matches just for one belt. Because outside of that, basically, realistically, there's nobody else to challenge Roman that hasn't already won, and I feel like. Basically, yeah, they're pushing Roman too hard, and it's really starting to become annoying.
Why did Roman never had if somebody interferes, you get stripped of the title? Never had one of the title matches yet. But every other heel that always interfered in matches gets at least one of those stipulations. Roman never had that stipulation ever in his career. Not in his career, but this.
No, I feel like he hasn't had it. He hasn't really had it since he's become undisputed champion, and since the Usos started having an undisputed tag championship. They just always interfere because last WrestleMania it was just Brock versus Roman.
Yeah. But they know also interference.
Yeah, it was interference.
What's the Usos interference for that one?
I don't remember that.
They buried him on a
no. That's SummerSlam.
No, that was SummerSlam. That was SummerSlam. Yeah, I said last WrestleMania when it was champion versus champion. It was just.
I don't think there was any interference.
Yeah, it wasn't interference in that champion versus champion match. No, it wasn't. It's just that there was speculation. I believe either Roman got injured or Brock got injured. Yeah, Roman got injured on his shoulder.
Arm cut out his socket.
So then, but nevertheless, looking at that was it's just frustrating. It's just overall frustrating because now there's no realistic person that can quote unquote beat Roman without it seeming just like fake. Like it's gonna be a feel good moment when somebody beats Roman, but also gonna feel like super fake.
But he didn't need interference if you low blowed him. Being for real, last minute he low blowed him. Remember?
That's true. That is true. But I mean, that's still within the match.
Also, why is there always a ref bump in a Roman Reigns title match?
Bro, those refs are paper.
That is true. Those refs are like legit paper mache, glass bones, and paper skin. Like it makes absolutely no sense.
Female matches, they barely even got touched. Yeah, it was some close calls. Like for.
It's not the women referee are stronger than the men referee because the men get bumped once and then they fall over and it's GG.
All over the place.
The women, they'll at least hit the turnbuckle and stand up a little bit. Like nah, man, that's just wild.
I'm hurt.
But nevertheless, like that burial just makes absolutely no sense. I'm gonna say I love and enjoy the Roman Reigns as a character, but his matches are becoming like very, very boring, one-dimensional, with everything being he's fighting, the Usos come and interfere, then maybe it looks like it's going to be a turnaround, and then boom. And speaking of Raw, just so we're not keeping it only on Cody and Roman, the rest of Raw was bad.
It was not good.
There's already been a conversation and speculation that Drew might leave, and this was before what happened at Raw.
I thought it was the April Fool's joke. Also,
right. Some people thought it was April Fool's joke, but it also is true that his contract is supposed to end this year, and they haven't re-signed him yet.
It was rumored that two stars said they would leave. One of them would say they demanded for their release. The other one would say who would wait his contract out, with their contract out. The two stars make sense for it is Bayley and Drew. Bayley would demand. Drew would wait.
And that made no sense also. Why is it that Damage Control came out without Bayley? And then Bayley puts up a tweet.
Bayley got scrapped right before that.
Yeah,
Bayley. A lot of things got scrapped that night.
They rewrote the whole show at the last minute.
Yeah, Bayley had put out a tweet basically saying, like you said, some love stories have to come to an end. Goodbye. Like that's not good.
But it's like saying something too. So.
I already know Triple H will not put Omos on the screen. If Omos got a match, Triple H ain't right the match.
Right, a random Omos match that makes
Omos on the show in general is not his match. He don't like Omos at all.
All right, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Omos wasn't even featured that much when Triple H was in charge, so I get that. All right.
Right, it was one of those. Right, Omos was one of those. You're a superstar. We're going to use, but we're not gonna effectively use. And it's like it makes absolutely no sense. And especially again, you have talent like Elias, who character I enjoy. He's talking about Ezekiel. I enjoy Elias as a character, and I also enjoy what's his name?
Ezekiel.
No, not Ezekiel.
Matt.
No, he had fought Bobby Lashley. I'm trying to remember.
Like
last night.
Mustafa Ali.
Yeah, there we go. Mustafa Ali. There we go. Thank you for reminding. I enjoy them too, but it's one of those not being used, not just these gag style characters, and it makes absolutely no sense.
I understand you want to have long range champions now, but still, why is these gimmicky characters?
You can't say they want to have long range champions if you still have Charlotte Flair losing the belt and then coming back a couple weeks later to win.
And the worst thing is, with all these
except for Ronda,
that they're not even using, they're gonna go back to freaking NXT. I'm gonna train you.
Oh, they did that to Apollo.
Yeah. And speaking of NXT, because I know you want to talk no NXT call-ups. Like, how are we gonna sit there? And usually there's at least 1 or 2 NXT call-ups, unless they want to sit there and try to put most of them on SmackDown. That's coming up Friday. Okay. There's no NXT call-ups, so that makes absolutely no sense. So, what's the big idea? What's going on?
We can only hope that Friday is not being booked by Vince, but we'll see.
No, they will demand a release Friday this week. Oh yeah, they lost Jay White.
I feel like
Jay White also. Oh
yeah, I heard about
during this whole debate.
Yeah, considering for those who don't know, there was speculation that actually almost confirmed that Jay White is supposed to sign with WWE, and it would have made things WWE like really interesting, like shaking it up. Really, really good. But I feel, though, and especially with the Triple H reign, I feel like WWE was going into a more entertaining route. Like, the storylines were feeling good. Everything seemed cohesive.
And he was going into the pro wrestling route.
Right. Yeah. Like, and now you're basically taking, like, a lot of your stars and basically making them nothing again. And I don't get why. Like, think about it. You have Seth freaking Rollins coming out, having his song played, and then just leaving, doing nothing.
He left, and before he was in mid. He got a message. Not a message, but he got a signal. They got a signal back.
The production crew told him, like, yo, things change.
It's like you're gonna have the production crew sit there and do absolutely nothing, and it's just bad. Like, I don't know what to say, what to do in those aspects. People are gonna. I feel like the only way to fix it, at least especially with Vince being back in charge, is they didn't say if it was permanent or not, but Vince being back in charge, I feel like the wrestlers and probably any of the other staff members, they're gonna have to strike.
They're low. They're as soon as Vince came back, their morale was very low. It was like, oh, he's back? Really?
Yeah, they already confirmed that. Yeah, the morale in WWE right now is like very, very low. Every time I check anything, YouTube, Twitter, whatnot,
includes Vince, the morale's low.
People already felt low when he had first came back, just because, and he was like, no, he hasn't touched anything. They just lied to him. He's just trying to sell it. But right when he sold it, and he basically put himself still in that higher position,
I bet y'all that he booked Shane to come out.
Nah.
No, because remember, he fired Shane after the Royal Rumble.
He don't like Shane at all.
So you think who? Triple H announced him to come back?
But I think Triple H only announced him for this one reason. Wonder why? Because they Vince scrapped the LA Knight stuff. That's right. Why?
I would have rather had LA Knight come out and fight Miz.
Yeah.
That would have been better. LA Knight, yeah. But no, seriously. And
LA in LA.
Nah, that would have made sense.
Yeah.
But also, and I was talking to Reese about this earlier, I'm going to sit back, I have a lot of hair, but I'm going to slick my hair back, put on my tinfoil hat, and I'm going to sit there and say, what if Vince is sitting back and he's deliberately sabotaging WWE so that its stock falls and he's able to, per se, buy it back at a much higher price? Well, much more, not a higher price, a much lower price. Because think about it. He already sold it for, what was it, 9.3 or $9.7 billion. So he doesn't own it anymore. Nevertheless, and Triple H basically brought it up to make much more money and basically bring its stock level back up.
think-
So he takes that 9.7, then he can basically buy the shares once it basically goes back down, and then he still owns it, and he took in a majority of that money.
In my opinion, I think the only reason Triple H had that promo is it's a farewell.
Yeah, it could be a farewell because I think
That
Stephanie
would
had
suck.
something like that on Twitter too.
Yeah, that would really suck because he was thanking everybody.
What's also sad in that aspect to me is that
Vince is really trying really sabotage his own company so he can have power instead of having somebody that's definitely better and will bring more money in for the company in charge.
that's true. But also, I feel like what another main problem with everything is that the outside of Vince making last minute cuts, the biggest thing Vince does all the time is literally make budget cuts.
Oh, yeah.
I
if we
wonder
see another
who's
half
going
of the
to be
roster-
out.
Break out, Bronson Reed out. Everybody have Triple H running is out.
Yeah,
if
break-
we
I know.
see that, I'm
Eo's
gonna be
leaving.
so
Wonder why
mad.
you don't like Vince. That's why she was gonna resign at first.
If we hear something about Vince releasing or WWE releasing half of his roster for freaking budget cuts, I'm gonna be mad. I'm gonna be very
That
mad.
it's
I'm gonna be very-
it's gonna be sad.
Ooh, I'm
It's
be
like
very
we didn't deserve it. It was not needed, and this is for all the fans to know. This is just kind of what happens when power gets to your head. It makes no sense why this company was started by Vince's father, and Vince inherited it afterwards, brought it to where it is. And after it started declining, Vince decided not to make any changes, not to listen to any of the fans, but to sit there and still say, nah, my own vision of it is what rules. Then when Triple H sits there and takes over because Vince had to step away because of all of those allegations and everything, literally Triple H made it better, and it seemed like Vince couldn't handle that.
Nah, he
And-
couldn't handle
Vince got jealous.
someone doing his job better
Better
than
than
he.
him.
No, he was like, oh, what?
We been saw Vince was gonna do that. Wonder why? Because Vince did that to his NXT, to Triple H NXT.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
When Triple H had to leave because he had health problems, Vince completely tore it down in NXT. What it was about. None of that was out of here. That's why Adam Cole left. They messed up Keith Lee on the main roster. I don't know how you messed
Oh
up
my
Keith Lee
god,
that
was
bad.
the biggest Bearcat.
He fired-
Keith Lee, that was still
He
fun.
fired.
He fired Bray. He got rid of Hit
fired
Row.
Bray.
He got rid of Aleister Black. Like all them budget cuts was kind of just something that's like, bro, what?
If Bray Wyatt does not get used,
No, he's leaving. He's Bray.
Yeah, Bray. If Vince McMahon is in like full creative control, even if they keep the quote unquote tag on Triple H, yeah, Bray's not gonna be there because Vince doesn't like him because of his weight.
No. Bray don't want to be there because Bray wasn't going to resign Vince was in charge.
A lot of people don't like that's the thing, a lot of people don't like Vince, and that's gonna be the main downfall of it. You can't have a toxic boss in your station and then sit there and expect, oh no, everything should be perfectly fine. We should be A-OK and whatnot.
Ready for the women's division to become terrible now?
Oh yeah, the women's division
tag
from
division,
being built up. Nope, that's gonna be gone.
Tag division.
I don't even know. Even though I'm not the biggest Ronda fan, I don't even know if Ronda's gonna be put into the same spotlight that she used to because Ronda hasn't.
With Vince at all.
Yeah, Ronda had no type of like good feelings towards him, so that's not gonna happen. Like I said, Almost is gonna get pushed. Brock is gonna probably stick around even longer. And that's not hating on Brock. It's just
You
saying.
like to see Goldberg return.
No, I can see Goldberg. If Vince is control, Goldberg will definitely return. It's gonna probably be one of those. He already passed quote unquote passed the torch to Roman after Roman basically made him tap out and whatnot.
5 minutes.
And literally Goldberg has said he wanted another match, not necessarily against Roman, but just another. He wanted a good retirement match.
So he might come back.
It's gonna probably be-
He will say, who's next? And then who do you think is
Bobby. It's gonna be Bobby. It's gonna probably be Bobby.
You think so?
If Goldberg comes back, it's gonna be Bobby.
Why?
Because Bobby and Goldberg had a good match. Their last match was really, really good. So
Also, this.
What if you're wrong
No,
and
can I say
it's Brock
some
Lesnar
of this
come
stuff though? We see that. If I see Brock Lesnar in a match,
or Amos or
Oh
Amos.
my god.
Goldberg versus Amos would be wild.
Goldberg
Vince-
can still have long matches, but if it was,
He just can't lift motherfuckers like.
he
he used
can't.
to.
You know who else I just thought about like, you know what else might be like completely disbanded, even though it was rumors that they were gonna get back together? The Hurt Business.
Oh man, I wasn't.
Like, there's nothing that can come right now from a really, really good Vince McMahon led that. And I know Vince McMahon is pioneered WWE into where it is currently. Like, he was the main factor and he's been the main head of that. But also, this isn't saying nothing just about his age. This is just saying about his thought process on WWE. He still looks at everybody in the aspect of saying, hey, we need big beefy Hulk Hogan-esque men. We don't care about skills. By the way, Ricochet's getting buried again. So Ricochet's gonna be a jobber. You know Ricochet's gonna be a jobber.
Vince
The only person who got any type of push or any surprise recently when it came to this Monday Night Raw was Matt Riddle.
But that was terrible return. He didn't return. He didn't.
That was random.
Right, like if it would have made more sense for Matt Riddle to kind of show up during the Roman fight because of what happened with Randy Orton. Like, remember he said then he blames the Usos and he blames Roman for that whole situation. It would have made more sense for that to happen.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, it's one of those things of just being like, you can't sit there and trust it. Right now, and that's saying somebody like I've gotten out of WWE at first because I was just kind of like, I'm not really feeling it no more. I didn't have time to watch it. Also, it was some other things, realizing it's scripted. Being young, I was like, oh, it's fake. I don't like wrestling no more. Boo-hoo, boo-hoo. Getting bullied for it. But then I started really appreciating what the wrestlers did. Like, especially when AEW surfaced, I was like, wow, the wrestlers are really putting their bodies through it, no matter if it's scripted or not. And now, once Triple H took over WWE, I felt more secure to really start watching it.
I felt safe.
Right, I felt safe, and now it's...
Finally,
now with Vince McMahon.
Now it's like back to no, it's not now.
Now it's back to again the beefy men, the broken storylines, and not really caring about things. The very, very retired wrestlers, like who we really aren't there to see. And not even that, it's gonna just be the underdeveloped. Like all these new people are just not gonna be developed the way that they used to be.
Not getting introduced to someone else or someone new. It's the same people. Brock and Roman.
Yeah.
Almost, maybe.
I was just about to say that. I'm like, fans, SummerSlam and Survivor Series, just be prepared for Brock versus Roman, Hell in a Cell, no holds bar.
What, like 6, 7?
It's.
Don't you know this? Vince is really, really in charge with the whole thing. I'm done watching WWE.
I'm not gonna lie.
It's gonna be right. Until something gets sorted out, I might need to take a break from WWE. Again, of course, fans, if you guys want to see more content, we're definitely gonna be here to make it. I'll definitely still check it out because again, this channel is about you all.
I look at the highlights.
So, I look at the highlights, but this channel is again about
also,
you
it's
all.
Just highlights. I will look on Twitter for little life still of the show.
It's just right now with what happened the past 2 nights, especially with what happened in Monday Night Raw last night, being basically the lowest rated Monday Night Raw ever.
Of all time.
It made me really, really lose hope and don't know what we're gonna do about this. But without further ado, that's what we got. That's our takes on everything. Please like. What's up?
Y'all feel AEW gonna be the top company now?
No, I don't. I don't think.
If Vince is fully in charge,
maybe.
I think if anything,
views-wise, they might.
They might take some views. They might take some views like after since WrestleMania is over. They might take some views the rest of this month and maybe going into the summer, but they're not gonna take any major views.
Yeah. But you heard there's a lot of frustrations back. AEW can get a lot of people being through now.
But you still got CM Punk heat.
Yeah, and there's and.
This is probably the best time for AEW right now.
He always takes people who was at WWE, which makes him like not have too many people to show. Well, they're always doing the AEW dark matches. Which I'm not sure who even watches those. I mean, I don't.
I don't either. But if AEW was smart, they need to sort out that situation right now. We already know FTR's winning tonight. Yes, FTR's not losing at all for the title. They're not leaving AEW no time soon. FTR about to win. So, get that CM Punk and Elite situation cleared. This is probably the best time for it with Vince McMahon in charge of the company.
It's going to take a lot more than just to have it cleared, though.
It's a lot. I know it's gonna be a lot more.
Plus, isn't there some heat between him and Chris Jericho now too? That just resurfaced.
Basically, Chris Jericho sat there and said that he feels that whether he likes CM Punk or not, he still, if they're in the company, they can still coexist. He just basically said, it's not going to get past business. Like, it doesn't matter if I hate, unless you're just, like, dangerous in the ring, then I'm not going to, yeah, but unless you're dangerous, full-on dangerous in the ring, there's no reason why I can't just do business with you. So, that's how that is. Again, I don't think AEW is going to take over. I think it's going to have a boosted surge, but also, if I'm being honest, the reason why it's not going to take over is going to be because of Tony Khan. Tony Khan will probably sit there and say, lowest rated Raw, ha 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 ha. Look at AEW doing on the rise and whatnot. Like, he's going to say something stupid like that, and it's going to be like, come on now. Like, the best, and the reason I say AEW may take over the summer at most is because if Forbidden Door is a really, really good show, and they end up having, people like Sasha Banks come back, then I thought it was Mercedes Money.
I mean, Money. Mercedes Money.
But nevertheless, if they have people like that come back or come into that show, then yeah, they're gonna really have the buzz. But nevertheless, it's sad. Like I said, I was really getting deeper into WWE.
Also, Asuka message that Twitter post she posted.
Asuka was talking about the female division now.
Yeah.
So, Asuka.
She's
talking about the female division.
Also, do you think Asuka is going to want to be a part of the roster if Vince is really in charge?
Asuka might be a tag team partner again. That might be sad.
I mean,
Seth I know Seth was annoyed when they made him have a whole entrance to get scrapped mid-ring.
And I feel like, again, the only way for things to change is they have to strike to force Vince out.
They got to.
They have to. And I say that because at that point, if Endeavor...
If Seth's leaving, that means Becky's leaving.
Most definitely, I think so.
And again, if Endeavor sits there and since they bought the majority stakes of WrestleMania, WWE, then that means they need to literally sit back and
Vince is just the president of WWE. He's not the owner. No. He's not really the main owner.
Yeah, but at that point, think about it. If your president is screwing, I think Nick Khan is the president. He's a chief chairman, right? They need to basically.
He can still get fired.
They need to sit there and say, hey, we need to force Vince out. And if they do that, then Endeavor has to sit there and really look and say, if our money is screwed up, then.
I was so mad yesterday. The lowest rated show. USA was so mad yesterday.
And they probably know it's because of Vince.
They was already mad that Roman won. They was already mad because of that. If you saw the post, it was under a post. They said, this is not the outcome we wanted, but congratulations.
Yeah, because at that point, you need to split the titles up. And that's
I think Vince made that storyline for Roman to win.
Possibly.
Because USA mad. The people's mad.
They just need to vote out Vince.
If Vince get voted out of the company,
that would be good. And he needs to stay out.
Stephanie's come back. Shane's gonna come back probably.
Well, I mean, after he heals.
No, Shane's gonna come back not as a wrestler, as an actual backstage person.
After he heals, bro, he tore his glass.
Just like his dad.
And then again, trying to bring back up the storyline between Dominic and Ray. I wanted that to end.
I was so mad.
I'm tired of that. I'm sorry.
If I thought Ray was retiring at first.
I did too, but I'm tired of it. I don't think we need to keep
I don't care that Ray wrestles.
No, but like, not with Dominic though.
What we're going to do, have a backlash? Like, no, we already basically having a Damian Priest and Dominic versus Ray and Bad Bunny match.
Yeah.
I don't need it unless you're about to sit there. Because considering Bad Bunny doesn't necessarily wrestle, Bad Bunny, and you're not going to give Bad Bunny a loss. Like, you may give him a loss in a Battle Royale or Royal Rumble, but you're not going to give him just like a loss.
So that's why they don't need him on the show. Because Damian Priest has been taking too many losses lately.
Yeah, Damian Priest hasn't even been like doing anything. Really. Well, besides helping.
Fiend's going to be injured, bro. And Fiend's going to take some time off because that head stuff.
This man got them staples.
Nevertheless.
This show can be the best show ever. This
gotta get Vince out.
This company can be the best company of all time, the best it's ever been. If Vince leaves, or burn down to hell if Vince stays.
Vince cannot let go. He's just like, well.
Vince is a master sabotage of his own show.
He feels like he's the only one that can do it right. When it's like, no. I mean, Triple H has been doing a fantastic job ever since he left.
Well, everything's gonna be basically determined Friday, especially
and tonight.
That's true.
Because so many people don't show up tonight on NXT, they might get called up.
And like I said, from NXT to Friday Night SmackDown and further and beyond, we'll definitely just have to wait and see. But again,
for real, can you split creative? At least get Triple H on SmackDown, just only Smack. Like, at least split. Yeah. You want to see like for the next, they gonna have Vince in charge. Do it for a couple weeks, like 2 weeks. If Vince don't do good for 2 weeks in a row, out of here. Not even that, just get rid of him. Whoa, wait.
That's it.
Oh, they just some wrestlers just called him the Tasmanian Devil.
Well, I mean, when you bring toxicity into the workplace, it's nothing else you can really expect. But then again, like I said, all the wrestlers in WWE, whether it be NXT, Raw, or SmackDown, staff members, referees as well, and the announcers. The announcers got to get their announcers and the commentators definitely got to get their due flowers and everything too. We wish you the best, but that's it for this episode. Again, let us know what you think in the comments. Do you think WWE can be saved? And man, it sucks. But thank you all for listening. Please like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you.